Today, we're going to talk to a seller who's already brought one company on Amazon to 8 figures of sales. And by next year, she will have brought another company to over 10 million in sales. And it's through using a lot of cool strategies she's going to share with us by opening up her products and listings to us. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Are you an agency, enterprise level seller, or an 8 or 9 figure seller and need advanced analytics? Market Tracker 360 might be the product for you. To get a demo of Market Tracker 360, go to h10.me/MT360. That's h10.me/MT360. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And we've got a serious seller here from not too far away from me, but coming from Canada, we've got Elizabeth. How's it going?
Hi, Bradley. How are you?
I'm doing just delightful, thank you. Now, where in Canada exactly are you at?
Yes, so I'm located in the province of Quebec, about an hour from Montreal. It's called Mirabel, so I'm near the mountains here.
Okay, now is that where you were born and raised, or did you go there at a later stage in life?
So my parents are originally from El Salvador in Central America. Okay. My mom came into the States and stayed there for 5 years in the 1980s. And I was born there. I was actually born in Long Island in New York.
I hear a little bit of New York there.
Oh, okay. Maybe because of my cousins, but I've never lived there. Actually, I came here to Quebec and I was like a year and a half. So okay. I'm mostly Canadian, although I have my 2 passports there. But yeah.
That's kind of amazing, you know. Like, hey, you can be in New York when you're 7 months old, and then it just sticks with you, you know. Somehow, I guess I lived there for a year only or 2 years. I still feel like, and I was like more than 20 years ago. I still feel like a little bit of like a New Yorker. But anyways, been in Canada most of your life. So then I'm assuming English, Spanish, and French.
Correct.
You speak?
Yes. Okay. So my mom talked to us at the house in Spanish. French came at school, English too. But I did have the opportunity to study at the HEC Montreal, which is an European university here in Canada.
Okay. What was your major?
It's marketing and international business.
Okay. Yeah. And then upon graduation, did you enter that field?
Yes. So part of my career path here is a bit different because I didn't really touch e-commerce before like 2018. Prior to that, I was actually selling to big companies in pharma like Thermo Fisher, VWR, 3M. I was a marketing and sales director. So I've always been in the business field, but it was more B2B. It was not digital.
Interesting. Now, how then, you know, in the late 2010s, I guess you could say, how did you discover Amazon e-commerce?
Yes. So in 2017, I started working at a company called Pelican International. They are the Canadian company, which is actually the largest manufacturer of plastic kayaks. And I had a particular mandate, which was to develop an accessory product lines for them to sell online. So they usually sell out all of their products through big stores like Dick's Sporting Goods, Costco, Walmart, and they didn't have any really presence with e-commerce. Direct to consumer didn't exist at the time, and they wanted to start it with Amazon. So because it wasn't an existing channel, I just armed myself with my enthusiasm, curious mind, because I didn't know anything about Amazon. And, you know, like even after now, it's been like 5, almost 6 years that I'm within this ecosystem. It always continues to surprise me every day. Like it changes always. But at the time, just to go back there, we were set up as an Amazon 1P. So we were not doing a 3P seller. And after 18 months, we launched a full accessory product line in 2020 for paddles, dry bags, and many different accessories for the nautical outdoors activities. And it was a whole process because Amazon helped out during the process of the lineup. I've actually read through, like, at the time I didn't use helium then. So I've actually read a lot of all the reviews of different competitors, and based off those reviews, we came out with the different models and concepts with our R&D department to outsource these models in China. And that's how we came with, like when I left in 2022, the brand alone was selling 8 figures across 100 different ASINs, and it started from nothing.
What in particular were you responsible for?
I was responsible of everything. So from A to Z.
Okay, so then you can almost you can take most of the credit then from that increase in sales.
Yes, most of it. Of course, I had like a team, with me, helping me out, like just R&D and graphics and content and everything. But like the strategy, like the go-to-market strategy, yeah, it came from me.
So did you launch products as well, or just take their existing listings and try to just market it in a better way on Amazon? Like where did most of that growth come from? We
launched product, like all of them. Like for instance, we used to have 5 different models of paddles. When I left, we had 5 different categories, and each of them had 3 to 5 different variations. So it was mainly like taking the small category of accessories that they had and just broadly coming with different subcategories, and how do we sell these to the different to the Amazon customer.
And 100% the products that were launched were all 1P or like through Vendor Central, where it says shipped and sold by Amazon?
Yes, it was all through 1P.
Now, what's, for those who might not be familiar, we're not going to fast forward yet in your journey to the 3P side, but what are some of the biggest differences, like things you might not have control over, things that are completely different on the process when you're a 1P as opposed to 3P?
I feel like 1P, it's good when you have a good relationship with your vendor manager, if you get to talk to him. First year, we didn't have this relationship, so it was kind of hard. But basically, what is different is that you don't control demand. You don't have all these access to different promotions that you do with 3P seller side. Although I'm not really familiar of the changes that have been made in the last year and a half, because I'm not anymore in the 1P, so maybe it is. But just like brand analytics, like on the 3P side, it changed my life. Here as a seller now, and the vendor side, we didn't have access. I believe they do now, but at the time they didn't. One of the things also, it's the forecasting process. The way they order for us, it was every Monday. So they actually just issue POs, and you have to go to the process of seeing if you can accept those or not, if you have enough stock or not. So it was more, a little bit more difficult. And also all the negotiation part, with the percentages that they take for allowances and all of that, it gets very corporate. It is a B2B relationship when you are a 1P seller.
How about Amazon advertising? Is that a very similar experience, or are there differences there with how you run the PPC?
It was. However, I run it now on a very different strategy side, meaning that I do it with an agency. I do have the budget. I'm with a company now that has a budget for that. Pelican at the time didn't do it that way. It was very sporadic and not really, we didn't really have like a strategy around it. It was more like keyword based. So I don't know exactly what they're doing now. I believe they have somebody doing the advertising part.
What about listing? Again, some of this is different to me because I don't have personal experience, with 1P. How much control over your listing optimization do you have, or is Amazon the one who is creating the listings, or you have full control over the images and the copy and things like that?
So copy and images, you do have full control. The only thing that you don't have full control is pricing. That's one of the things that we didn't like. It's like it was sporadic. Sometimes they just run like a deal or something on our product listing, and we didn't even agree to that, or we didn't issue that. And I think
but they still have to pay you the same, like if they decide for some crazy reason, hey, we're going to give a 50% off discount. It's not like they can tell you, hey, you need to give us 50% off or something like that.
Exactly. So it's mainly, I believe it's mainly for them I'm pretty sure it's an algorithm doing that. So they have too much stock. It's not moving enough. So they just like issue like a 10%. Our problem with that is that, we were an omni-channel company. So we had other retailers also where we cannot just run random promotions and having one price at Dick's Sporting Goods and another on Amazon. We were a map company, but they don't, like, Amazon doesn't really go with the map policy. So that was one of the things that was difficult for us, but it was more the first 18 months, because after that, when we got our good relationship with the vendor manager, he did understand that we cannot be like playing around with our prices.
In retrospect, my question is going to be like, which would you choose? Like, so, there might be some sellers out there or some companies, maybe they're not on Amazon yet. And I've heard this question before. It's like, hey, I'm trying to get on Amazon. I actually have an offer from Amazon. They want to do 1P with me. They want me to go Vendor Central route. Or should I just start, like most people and go full 3P and just, set up my own Seller Central account and do everything on my own? Are there situations where that answer might be different, or is your answer the same in all situations? And if so, which one would you choose?
I think 3P seller is just like, it's the setup that you need to have to launch, and it just offers so much more opportunities and more control, especially if you do it FBA. The only part where I see it a little bit more difficult, it would be like when you do big bulk items like kayaks are, those are not profitable on a 3P seller program, so the fact that Amazon is buying those from you, stocking them, and you actually just giving an allowance. Yeah, maybe the allowance is big, but it doesn't cover for what would it cost for you to send it out to an FBA center. So I would say that it depends on your product, depends on the dimensions. If it is for control, 3P all the way. I do believe you do have much more capabilities within the 3P seller program. Ultimately, what we love to have, it's like a 3P seller program direct, where you have all this infrastructure that can have custom customer services, and
sure,
where you have the full control and you own the Amazon customers' data. That would be the ultimate setup.
You seem to be riding pretty high, bringing this big brand to 8 figures, but you're not at that company anymore. So how did it come about that you were looking for another opportunity?
So after 5 years with Pelican, I found a brand called Algical, and it really caught my attention. It's a company based in Vancouver. They make supplements for bone health. They are experts in bone health, and everything that they do is around both bone supplements. So it just called out to me because I do have my family, almost all women in my family suffer from osteoporosis. So it's something that their mission really called upon me. And I joined them, to help them grow their Amazon business because they already had something going on there. They were a 7-figure, very nice, healthy company. I just thought that my experience could bring them to the next level, And since it's been almost a year and a half now that I'm there, we've achieved double-digit growth. We launched.
So when you got to the company, what was like their annual revenue? And then what is
figures.
it?
Yeah.
about now?
It's still seven figures, but we are getting to, like, next year we'll make the eight figures for sure. Actually, this year is our most successful year in history. We also launched Amazon Canada, and we most recently launched Walmart.com too.
Isn't this a Canadian-based company to start with?
Yes, it is.
So they before you came to the company, they had decided to start in Amazon USA.
Yes.
Not even in their own home marketplace. Okay.
And just by the way, Pelican did the same. They started with the US, and then they went for Canada.
I know people who go both ways.
Yeah.
You know, obviously US is way higher demand, but then some people are like, hey, this is my own country. I've already got my packaging, for this. I'm assuming I have a little bit of experience with supplements in North America, and it's like completely not completely, but pretty big differences in packaging for my US version and Canadian version. Like the Canadian one, I think it had to be in French and English, and I could only say some things. Is that similar with you guys too?
Yes, so supplement facts are different. The measurements there, it needs to be bilingual. You need the NPN number too for your products. And there's also the formulation. Like, for instance, vitamin D in Canada, we cannot be above 800 IUs on the supplement packs. But however, in the US, we have it at 1,000 IU. So it really depends on what you're selling. Part of Algical, what it's good, it's that we actually manufacture in the US and in Canada. So that gives us much more leverage there to have our own formulated products for the different territories.
I'm just looking here at, I'm just going to run X-ray keywords on here just to see some of your main keywords that might be driving some traffic, because I'm not fully familiar with your brand, but I'm seeing I would have expected mainly branded keywords, which I do see here. I do see your brand Algical. You're ranked high in Algical Plus, but you've got high search volume keywords that I would think is very competitive, like calcium supplement, 70,000 search volume keyword. Tons of products. And you're coming in at this price point of like $70, $80. I saw another product you had $100. The traditional thought might be, man, it's going to be hard to compete in supplements at all, let alone with this like super high price point. So this is a product that, according to Helium 10 estimations, you're selling over, between these two variations here, over 2,000 units a month. So you're obviously very successful. How are you able to compete in such a competitive niche at this nearly $100 price point?
Yes. So I think you got a great point here, Bradley. It's that our product is high end in the calcium supplement category. Part of it is because we have a unique formulation that most of the calciums comes from rock-based calcium. Ours is actually plant-based. It comes from the south shores of Brazil, and it's based from a red algae that contains the 13 different nutrients that are proven, and that's one of the things with Algical. We actually have 3 clinical supporting studies that says that our product will increase bone density within 6 months. So if a customer starts today and it has osteoporosis, goes for a DEXA scan, which is a test that your doctor can subscribe for you to do, and we can see the density of your bones, within 6 months, you will see an increase in bone density. And if it doesn't, and you have proof of that, we will actually give you back all your money. That's one of our guarantees that we have. So it's like, yes, it's an investment, but it's an investment that works. And that is the message that we are trying to get to our customers as much as possible through Amazon. We do it very well on their D2C side. And my mission was to do the same on Amazon. Today we have a community of over 25,000 members within Facebook. That is actually a community where we share recipes. We have lives with different doctors or bone experts. So we are not just selling a calcium supplement. We're actually taking care of our customers, giving them all the support they need. Our biggest customer is going to be within the 70s, 80s. They are hurt. Their bones hurt. Most of them maybe just broke a hip. They can't move anymore. They can't do their activities as they did before. So we have this, our customer service, we actually call them bone health consultants because that's what they are. They actually provide support to these customers, and they are like, our average call, it's above 30 minutes. You will not have a call of 5 minutes. We actually want to understand what you eat, what are your exercise activities, what other supplements or medications you are taking to make sure that our product is well integrating within your lifestyle. So that's our difference, and that's what we're trying to put out there. Within our PDP, if you look at it, we have a lot of content. I know that most of our competitors, they do it more shorter, bullet points and imagery. For us, yes, the imagery needs to be condensed, straight to the point, but also it needs to have much information around it towards why to take our product. We also have our 8+ content that has a lot of copy, I know, but we need to the customer needs to understand too what is the stage, what stage of their life are their bones. So that's one of the things that we are trying also to communicate through the 8+ content. We also have all these documents. We have spec sheets. We have a Bone Health Companion, which is actually a magazine that we release every 2 months with different recipes. And every 2 months we go in it and we change it. We have the user guide also of our products. So a lot of different content. And I know that maybe not all of the customers will read through it, but I want to make it available to make sure that for those ones that really want to do their research, the information is there.
Interesting. Now, again, I'm just looking at the main keyword here, and sure enough, I mean, I didn't look at it before, but sure enough, it's just what I thought. Like you look at who's at the top organic position on some of these keywords, and you've got Nature Made $15 and Nature's Bounty $11 and $12. Another one here, $15, and then you could just now. First of all, I'm just looking here, like your organic position isn't even that high, but you're still getting tons of sales from this keyword because you do have multiple. Looks like you're outbidding them on sponsored ads. I saw like I refreshed the screen and now it's not there anymore, but I saw like you had 2 spots here in sponsored ads. I see you've had sponsored header. The sponsored brand header, the headline ad there, and you can compete on this keyword. Now, I would assume, like I don't even want to know almost, the cost per click on a keyword like calcium supplement must be like out of control. Like I don't know, $10 or something crazy, right?
No, not that bad. Calcium supplement is not that bad. The worst one, we do have a product which is an omega-3 fish oil supplement that is just incredible. But calcium supplement it's around $4 to $5 a click. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's still, like Coffin Shelf is like 50 cents, but for I guess at that higher price point, it allows you to bid high. Like sometimes, I mean, just imagine, guys, that $4 and $5 price point is what these like Nature Made and these $11 products are having to compete at. They're obviously losing money there, but they're making the money back on the subscribe, and save, because these, you get people into this product and that you get them on subscribe and save, and now you don't have to pay PPC on them forever. But if you go in at a higher price point, because it's a higher end thing, it's important to get them in subscribe and save and make even more money. And it's not a race to the bottom, guys. We've had people on the podcast before. Ann Ferris, might be one that people are familiar with, and she's in like the baby niche, and people sometimes go into their main keywords and they actually look for the most expensive. So her strategy is, hey, I want to be the most expensive on the page because parents, have, they want to make sure they're giving their baby the best. They don't want to go cheap on that. And this might be one of those niches too, like calcium supplements. I mean, this is like somebody in their twilight years, it's like, hey, I want to extend, I want to make sure my last, 20 years on this earth are as pleasant as can be. Might not want to go ahead and get this $11 calcium that I used to get, when I was young. So it's a strategy that's I think important to understand, that don't always be thinking you have to be the cheapest in your niche in order to be successful. And here we have Elizabeth as an example. That's not the case. Now, I just, while we were talking, I was running a Cerebro on your product here, and I noticed you've got like a lot of sponsored brand header. I see you're running, so it looks like some video on some keywords, and then you're showing up in the highly rated section here. So you've got a lot of placements. What gives you the most bang for your buck? Is it your organic placement? Is it the sponsored video, your sponsored brand header? Where do you think that you're getting the best ROI?
Yeah, so at the moment, our ratio is still 60-40. So 60% of our sales comes from organic, 40% comes from sponsor. Okay. Out of that sponsor, what is really working for us at the moment is definitely sponsor brand videos. Sponsor brands videos, and you do have to have, the content and how can they say, the different types of videos that you want to have, depending on what it is your strategy or what are you targeting. But it's mostly for engagement. It's the best. It's the best placement that we've reached for the last, I would say, maybe 2 months since it has been available. And part of it is also because we tied it with our Amazon store. Our Amazon store, we recently did a full refresh on it, and we have different pages, sub pages there. For instance, we will have sponsor brand videos at the moment about adding to cart if we want, and once they click, they go on our sub page, which is for deals. So we make sure that the customer looks at a sponsor brand video ad, and then they go out on the right sub page where they will more convert. We actually run a campaign for osteoporosis month in the month of May, and everything was around bone health. And we had this sub page called Bone Health that was built, that is half, yes, for conversion, but also half for content. And it did really, really good. We pair it out with subscribe and save coupon. We've managed to only that month get 550 new subscribers. So that's one of the things we're trying to leverage more and more. It's also our subscriber space. It is now 40% of our revenue, and we are increasing at about 8 to 10% every month. So that too, we need to make sure that we get that customer once. Then we want it to be a loyal customer because we do know what is our LTV down the road. And we want to make sure, that yes, the cost per acquisition for that particular customer, yes, maybe during Prime Day, it was almost nothing, let's say. But on the long run, it will bring you much more revenue.
Now I'm looking at just another keyword, and I saw one of your sponsored brand video comes up. It looks like it almost starts with like a UGC, like, or just did you like, hey, this is like our typical avatar here, and this customer submitted this. This is it'll kind of like get the attention of some people might scrolling here. Is that kind of like the route you went with this video?
That is correct. We actually, like I mentioned before, we have 25,000 community members, and we receive hundreds of testimonials every month. It's incredible how our community loves our product and wants to talk about it. So our video team does a lot of different ads with these testimonials, and we just feel that it's much more engaging. The message really resonates with our audience when it comes from a real life testimonial.
I see at the very top of the page, this is one of the first I've seen of a different kind. I mean, this is that same keyword, but this, traditionally is just a regular, sponsored brand, ad or sponsored brand headline ad where there's like 3 products. But then what I'm seeing here, it's another video that auto plays in like this big, it kind of takes it almost seems like it takes a bigger section of the top of the page.
Yes.
But this one is going to your storefront. What kind of ad is this here at the top?
That's the sponsor brand video, and it's actually you can choose that per category, or you can choose it per sub page, and that one is actually just going to our homepage, if not mistaken.
Interesting. Yeah. So this is like you have 2 sponsored brand video ad placements on the same exact page. So that's an interesting thing I haven't even seen before. We
try to get the more real estate that we can, and I cannot take credit for all of this. It's our agency. They're pretty innovative there. We work in pair. I draw the strategy, they execute. One of the things that really worked with us too is that it's been maybe a couple of months now that we're doing a lot of DSP, and we are actually moving much more towards DSP advertising than sponsor, just because of the capabilities of doing really targeting with audiences. And that really just gives us much more control over what are we serving to the customer, depending on where on the purchasing journey they are. So for instance, we are pairing customers, let's say upper funnels. It's more about are these customers, I don't know, let's say, for instance, one of the things, because I used to work with Pelican, I knew that their audiences on Amazon actually were about 50 plus, because these are customers that didn't really want to, go to Dick's Sporting Goods, take out the kayak, put out on the car. They actually just rent it out, buy it, and it went out to the cottage. So what I did is we actually had an outdoor video where we see a couple just doing kayak on the water, and we have all of this messaging around fortifying your bones to make sure that you can continue doing your activities. And that video we are actually using in the category for nauticals within the sponsor, but we are also using it on DSP. So on DSP, we're able to say, if they bought a kayak within the last 60 days, and they are 50 plus, we can do like a lot of more targeted audiences there. Yeah.
What other unique programs are you doing? We've talked about some common ones. We've talked about some more unique ones like DSP. Any more unique things that you've programs that you've taken advantage of at Amazon, or have we hit most of them?
I tend to I've been classified as a tester. I love to test everything. Every time I see a beta out there, I'm just trying to get my hands on it and see what I can do with it. And I think it's part of the success, because you can really try and test to see what's resonating, with your customer. One of the things that we've recently have done, and I cannot tell you if it's going to work or not because it's fairly new. It's actually, these tailored promotions that came out on Seller Central. We can actually now serve an exclusive deal, let's say, to a particular audience. For instance, we're doing with brand cart abandonment audience, which is perfect because Prime Day was just like a couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
And we are serving them a coupon to get them within the brand, but we're also at the same time having this catchy add to cart OTT video within DSP that is serving to that same audience the ad, so they can see that we have a coupon. So it's just like making these connections between what you're able to do in promotions, how you can pair it out with DSP or with sponsor. I guess just being very creative.
Now that first part that you mentioned, a lot of regular sellers have that. Like the second part is definitely through DSP, but that tailored thing, I think a lot of sellers now have access to that. So you're combining both of it. I like it. What about in Helium-10? What are some of your favorite tools and functions that, like you said, back in the day, you didn't have Helium-10. Like, what kind of things are you using now for your brand that you're probably thinking, dang it, I wish I had this in 2017 when I was trying to figure this out, or something like that?
I have a colleague of mine that he's really the one that is using, listing builder, keywords, Cerebro, all of these. For me, within my job, more a strategic level, we actually use Market 360. So Market 360 is one of the tools that I use a lot to understand actually how much of market shares are we actually getting every quarter. What are our competitors doing that maybe we are not? And also for product launch. So we are launching new products in September and October, and part of the research is all based on Market 360 to see like what is really our competitive advantage here. What is the market that we want to target? What are we trying to aim, with this product launch after 6 months, 12 months? So it's just part of our strategical planning. Okay. But other than that,
now for those who are listening, and they're looking at their dashboard, like, wait a minute, I don't have this. So Market Tracker 360 is kind of almost separate from Helium-10. For higher end sellers. Now this is it's not something that you have just in your diamond plan or something. Even me, I haven't used it. It's for very kind of big sellers like Elizabeth here. So talk to me about one strategy. Like you said, you're looking at launch. So before you get into the niche, what are the data points that you're looking at in Market Tracker 360 to, are you saying that you're looking at that to even decide if it's something you want to go in, or you're like, hey, we are definitely going in here. Let me just kind of benchmark what the existing landscape is doing so that I can see how I'm taking market share from them, or how are you using it in this sense of launch, like you said?
So at the beginning, it was more to, yes, we are launching this new product. What is the benchmark, on Amazon? Now it's difficult for me to go into the details without revealing what we're going to launch, and I can't do that. But one of the things now with time, knowing that, okay, this is our market share, it's more about how do we position the product. So the product have different ingredients if we want in it. And with Market 360, for me, it's about, okay, what is the market for each individuals of these categories or these sets of keywords? We have these different ingredients and or vitamins, if we want, within the same formulation. And we want to see which one of them has the more potential for us as far as sales. And then serving within that category and say, hey, by the way, we're not just selling this. Our formulation have this, and this for this price, actually. So it's about getting more value to the customer within one category and make them switch from what they are already buying, but actually they are not, they are paying for something that if they go with our product, they will get much more value out of their money. So that's the type of strategy now, but it's more like go to market. And I could maybe talk to you later on next year about how it went, but that is how I'm utilizing to Market 360. Okay. But another tool that for me as a director marketplace, I love is your new dashboard, your new dashboard insights. I just go in, I have all the information I need. And I saw this morning that now we have competitors there for each of our products. It's awesome. So for me, it's just going to one place and having all the information when I need it.
Awesome. So guys, if anybody out there is, doing $4 or $5 million or more and think that Market Tracker 360 might be a fit for you, just go to h10.me/MT360 and you can get a free demo on that tool. As far as what you also mentioned, the Insights dashboard, that's what everybody has access to, or as long as you have a diamond and above. And we got some cool things, Elizabeth. That's crazy. The competitor was just a start, but now once you set your competitors, we're going to tell you, hey, did you know that your competitor is getting sales from this keyword and you don't even have it in your listing? Theoretically, you should have been. I'm sure you, like you said, you have a colleague who's using Cerebro. That's probably his or her job, to use Cerebro and try and find those. But now instead of him having to, take 10 minutes to do it, you're just going to instantly get this notification that did all the work for you. Actually, it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if your competitor is going to feel, or your coworker there is going to feel a little bit nervous. Like, man, Helium 10 is taking my job away. I bet I got to find some new strategies to stay relevant here. Before we get to your last strategy, like we always ask everybody for their 60-second tip of the day. Let's switch gears. Somebody who's in the kind of like health niche here, and might have some interesting insight. But what I ask all my guests is this year is on the health side. Like we're all entrepreneurs. We're working for companies in the space. Actually, your story is similar to mine. Like before Helium 10, I used to work for a supplement, a very popular supplement company. I didn't sell on Amazon myself, but anyways, regardless if we're in the supplement space or we're not, health is important, and sometimes then we get in these kind of jobs and it's fun for us. I'm sure I could just see, from talking to you, it's fun. And sometimes we might overwork ourselves or just, forget that we just work 12 hours. Like, what do you do for hobbies to make sure that you get away from work? And what are some like healthy habits that you have that, to make sure that you're staying, grounded, emotionally, mentally, physically?
Mostly, one of the things that I do is it's to have like a routine. I'm an early person. I wake up at 5 a.m. I make most of my day in the morning, reading. I'm listening to either one of your podcasts or something else about Amazon for sure. I go for a run. I love running. I've started out at the beginning. I couldn't even have like half a K. I couldn't even do that. Now I run between 10 and 15 K every week. So I love to run. I run in trails, nature. I love nature and just getting outside. So it's something that really helped me out.
All right, let's close it with what's 30 or your 60-second tip. You've been talking a lot about your strategies and things, but is there something you mentioned today you can say in 30 or 60 seconds or less that you think can help our listeners out there?
So we've been talking about different strategies, that could help you within Amazon Marketplace. But one key takeaway that I think it's crucial, and I did talk about it during our conversation, is content. But not just any content, but the right kind of content. So we are using ChatGPT 4, like I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience here, but we use it to dissect our product reviews, but not just to gain deeper understanding of our customers, but really asking about their psychological, social, cultural factors within these reviews to try to understand, their intrinsic and extrinsic values. So really what they are trying, what is driving the customer towards your product, and what are they tangibly wanting to have? What are the benefits that customers are getting out of the product? And we actually had a lot of success with this, understanding these various factors and values from our customers. We tailored our message. We actually, for example, on our analysis, it revealed that a large portion of our products were actually purchased by adults for their aging parents. So we took this and we make it a caregiver campaign with Amazon DSP with tailor messaging around these adults, not targeting 55 plus, but maybe targeting 28 to 45, with this message about taking care of your parents, not just an investment for them, but also an investment for you. So these types of information you can get by utilizing ChatGPT with the reviews, but not just what they are saying. No. Go deeper. Ask Chat really questions about what do you think their values are? Where do they find our products? For us, it was a lot recommended by doctors. So now we have a lot of much more doctors or clinical types of imagery within our content. So these types of informations are very good to have.
All right. Elizabeth, it was great, getting to know, your story, really inspiring, and seeing all the success you've had. Where will I be seeing you? Are you going to Amazon Accelerate or maybe Amazon Unbox or any of these conferences coming up?
Yeah. So I'll be at Amazon Unbox this year.
Unbox. Yes. All right. I'll see you there in October. And when we have you back on this show sometime next year, hopefully you can be able to say that, hey, maybe you hit that 8-figure mark already for the second time now in 6 years. So that would be awesome. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.